What I'm going to be doing here is doing an update on my Marlin 1894. The second video I ever did was on this Marlin 1894 and 44 mag, which was a replacement for the dreaded Rossi, which I'd rather not mention. Now, just an update on some of the specs. 20-inch barrel, 10 rounds in the mag. Obviously lever action. Now, originally what I did to it was I put excess ghost ring sights on it, and I was going to leave it like that, but in the end what I've done is gone to scope, because those excess make great sights, but those sights are so chunky, they're just too big. Now, the scope that I've put on it is a Leopold, one of the new VX Freedoms. I've got 5 of them now. And got 5 of them now. I love them so much. It's the VX Freedom 1.5 to 4 by 20 with the Pigplex reticle, which is, the serial number is 174177. There you go. So if you want to buy one, really nice. I love the VX Freedoms. Like I said, I've got 5 now. That scope is sitting on Tally bases rings. They're just 2-piece affair, and that is, what's that? That serial number is 940336. So it does actually say there that it's for, on the packet it does say that it's for Marlin 336 1895, but this is an 1894, and the hole centers are exactly the same. I think the older models had different hole centers, different years of make and whatnot, but it would appear that Remington or Marlin in their later years have standardized all the hole centers, so it doesn't matter which Marlin lever action you get now, all the hole centers are the same. So it would appear, because they're exactly the same on my SBL 4570. So that's Tally's, very nice. It's a bit similar to D&Z's, similar setup. My glasses are fogging up. It is so humid. It's been seriously dry and seriously hot, and now for the last 3 days it's been pouring. So the wet season's finally arrived, and it is just super humid, and my glasses are fogging up, and it's not cold in here. Let's see. So the other changes that I've made, so I put the original sights back on. They're okay. The only real problem I have with the original sights is that the hood, the front hood, to protect the blade, right, it's flat. Like, I'll show you so you can see. It's flat at the top, and that's it sort of reduces the amount of, your vision. Well, sort of. It's a bit strange. I'll see if I'll conjure up a round hood. I'll probably just make it out of some flat spring steel, or packing strap or something like that. That usually works pretty well. Let's see, so put the original sights back on, put the scope on it, and what else have I changed? I don't know if, I don't think I had the trigger happy trigger in when I did the first video, but I've got, because I just a bit anal about that. That floppy, the Marlin floppy trigger, can't stand that. So, and these things aren't cheap either. From Wild West Guns in Las Vegas, I've got the Trigger Happy kit. What it is, it replaces your 2-piece trigger. 2-piece trigger? What is that about? It replaces your 2-piece trigger with a spring-loaded two-piece trigger, so that you don't have a floppy trigger anymore. You probably won't be able to see this, but if this was the original trigger, that trigger would just be flopping around, you know, really loose. This one is not. It is actually, it's got tension on it. Alright, so it's not flopping around. So that's the Trigger Wild West Guns Trigger Happy kit. Very nice. Then the other upgrade that I did was that and it is an upgrade, I replaced this thing with the Big Loop. The Wild West Guns Big Loop lever, straight stock, Marlin 1894. Now, some people will say, oh, you're just wasting your time, why are you doing that? Look, that's tiny. Like, really. Like, you know, I haven't got banana fingers. You know, yeah, I've got big hands, but thin fingers, you know. So I haven't got banana. I can't imagine how someone with, you know, serious banana fingers would, you know, even. In fact, I personally know people whose fingers wouldn't even fit in there. So that is tiny, and this is typical pretty much for all lever actions, Western lever actions. You know, I don't know about the BLR, that looks pretty small too. But that's just tiny, yeah. And can you imagine that with serious gloves on? I don't know. What, did people 100 years ago have seriously small hands or something? I don't know, but I replaced the lever with the Big Loop lever, and I think that's definitely an improvement. You know, it's not massive, you know, but it just, heaps of room in there, just, yeah, functions so much better with that lever. Yeah, so that's another improvement. Let's see, what else? Oh man, it's so humid. Let's see, accuracy. Now, because I have got the scope on it, I thought I'll do some serious accuracy testing, if you can call my accuracy testing serious. And so I tested 3 different ammos. One was Gecko factory ammo. It's supposed to be made in Germany. It's really cheap, but I thought, well, you know, and this when I first purchased it, and I was at the shop, and he said, oh, yeah, if you want cheap ammo, just buy this stuff. Pardon me. And so, yeah. Now, on the box, I haven't got the box here, on the box, it's got a pistol, a 44 Magnum pistol on it. There's a reason for that, because it's pistol ammo. It's not rifle ammo. And I suppose some people would say, well, what's the difference? Well, those noses are so flat on that Gecko ammo that, oh man, I had all kinds of problems with it, and have had, because I had something like, you know, 200 rounds of it. Anyway, so the first load, I'll use this amazing device, which is a platter, so you can see. So I did 3 groups of each of the ammo. So that is, I hope you can see that. That is Gecko. It's a 240 grain soft point, flat nose, and it's so flat that, yeah, has trouble feeding. So that was the first group, and that's 6.3 inches. This is at 50 meters. So that was terrible. That's on 4 power. Now, the second group, I don't know what's going on, whether, I'd already put quite a few rounds through it, so it wasn't like it wasn't, you know, fouled up or anything like that. So the next group was 2.5 inches. Yeah, a big difference. And then the third group was 4.16 inches. No, sorry, 3.7 inches. So, so the average out of those 3 groups of the Gecko 240 grain soft point was 4.16 inches. Now, considering what you'd be hunting with this, pigs, 4.16 inches at 50 meters, yeah, that's adequate. But considering the issues that I had with that ammo and have had, and yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Now the second load was a hand load, using Starline brass. I made these up. So brand new Starline brass with 22 grains of AR2205, which is an Australian powder. I don't know what the equivalent is, you'd have to look it up. And 240 grain XTPs, Hornady XTPs. Now, so the first one was 2.8 inches, not bad. The second one was 2.2 inches. Yeah, that's not bad at all. And then the third, have a look at that, 1.6 inches. Yeah, we're getting, you know, serious accuracy now. You know. Now that's quite a soft load, only 22 grains of that powder. So the average overall for that load was 2.2 inches, which is pretty good. Pretty damn good out of a 44 mag lever action that was designed, you know, 120 years ago. Now the third load is more of a hot load. It's still not seriously hot, but yeah, a hotter load. And so that was 25 grains of AR2205 with the Hornady 240 grain XTPs, Starline brass again. And so the first one was 2.6 inches. Let's see, the second one was 1.6 inches. Yeah, so, and then the third one was 2.6 inches. So an average overall of 2.26 inches. You know, so clearly, you know, I mean, there's a 3 grain difference between the 22 grains and the 25 grains, and the accuracy is virtually the same. And, you know, I can pretty much attribute that to the fact that it's a hand load. It's not a crappy little cheapo Gecko factory load, you know. So that's the sort of accuracy that you can expect. That's at 50 metres with full power, a good scope. You're not going to get much better than that, you know. They really are not famous for being super accurate, and they're not. You know, if you want an accurate lever action rifle, centerfire rifle, then get a BLR, because it's actually a rotating bolt. You know, get a BLR. Or if you can possibly get your hands on, you know, a Finn Wolf, which, you know, rare, people don't sell them because they were so well made and such a beautiful rifle. Tikka Finn Wolf, Seiko Finn Wolf, sorry, or a Winchester 88, which, yeah, never seen one in real life, or a Finn Wolf. So BLR is the way to go if you want an accurate lever action centerfire. Otherwise, yeah. I know there's a lot of people going to say, no, I've got a Winchester 94. That's, you know, I can do one MOA, or one of these in 33 that can do one MOA or whatever. You know, I've heard one guy say that he's got an SBL, same as mine, a 4570 Marlin SBL, stainless big loop, and he reckons he can, you know, with a good hand load, he can get one MOA out of it. I'd want to see that, because I don't believe it. Sorry. Now, problems that I've had. One of the biggest problems is with the El Cheapo ammo that I bought a ton of. The Gecko, G-E-C-O, Gecko. Now, I had problems with it feeding because the flat noses on it are so flat that it hits the feed ramp and it just chews up the lead nose on it, and you're just constantly having trouble with feeding. Extraction, I was having problems with extraction with those cases. And then what I was originally going to do, because I bought a ton of that Gecko rubbish and I was going to reload it, and I did. And what I found was, and this is first reload, you know, once fired brass, this is, so out of about 100 rounds that I reloaded, I've got 3 that have, what is the technical term, bifurcated, split down the middle, like in half, you know. And it's not the line where the projectile base is sitting. They're just split in half. So there's one, there's another, you know, like down the middle. We're talking 1-5 brass, failing like that. This one is almost totally split. You know, it's so that brass that Gecko uses must be just absolute rubbish. So my advice is, I don't know if it was just this batch or whether the brass is just rubbish. My advice is do not try to reload Gecko brass, because it's a bit of a surprise when you fire it and you cycle the lever and only half the case comes out. And you go, where's the other half? Yeah, it's still in the barrel. They weren't hard to get out, but you know, it's still a bit shocking. Let's see, what other problems have I had? Screws coming loose. One of the, I don't know about, I've never owned a Winchester 94, so I can't really speak for them. But one of the problems with Western style lever actions is that they are screw intensive, meaning that they've got a lot of screws. You know, like if I count all the screws that I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you know, 10, 11. There are 11 screws that can come loose and fall off this thing. That's externally. 11 screws and, no, 11, 12, 12 screws. Discounting the sight, discounting the scope. So 12 screws, and 2 in particular come loose a lot, quite a bit, and that is that screw there. I can't remember what it does, don't ask me. I think it's the trigger. Yeah, where the trigger pivots, I think that's the trigger screw. And the lever screw. Now, people probably say, well, why don't you just use thread locker? Well, I'm going to thread lock every screw except for the lever screw, because I undo that a fair bit, because the beauty of the Marlin is that you undo that screw and out comes the lever, out comes the bolt, and you can run a rod through it and do a proper clean of it. Right? Unlike the Winchester, or Winchesters, that you know, getting the bolt out of those things is a bit more problematic. That's one of the beauties of the Marlin. It's so easy to take the bolt out and lever out and give it a good clean. But that is an issue, screws coming loose. So yeah, it's not good, but not a whole lot you can do about it other than thread locking everything. If you are going to change the original loop on these things and put one of these big loops in it, one thing that you have to look out for is that there's a locking, I don't know what you call it, that thing there locks the bolt in. It's spring loaded. There's a pin that holds it in place, and you can see, bang, that's where it locks. You break it, it's like a little cam, and it locks. Now, to get that assembly out and put it, because the big loop doesn't come with that assembly at all in it, you have to remove it from this one, and obviously I think you can see there's a hole there, and so you've got the spring, you got the device, and then you've got a pin holding it back in there. Now this pin, when you're driving it out, it's not just a round pin. At one end there are actually flutes, raised flutes, I don't know what you call that. So when the pin's been tapped in, it's secure. Now, if you are going to take that assembly out to put it in the big loop, you need to get, I don't know, a really good magnifying glass or someone with really good eyes and see which end those flutes are on, so you can tap that out. Otherwise you're going to be driving those flutes through through a heap of steel, and it's going to be a very, very hard process. And it is, like, I didn't drive it through the wrong way, but it was still an extremely hard process because that pin is really, really, I don't know, on this one anyway, it was really, really secure. And it's such a small pin, I couldn't get a pin punch that small, so I actually got an El Cheapo $5 precision screwdriver set, and I got, I think it was a 1.4mm screwdriver, and just ground it down, ground the flat off it so it was round to drive it out. So that's something you need to be aware of. Other than that, everything's pretty easy to work on this thing. So I think that's about it, and I still love this rifle. All the upgrades that obviously, if I've done all these upgrades on it, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing it to it. With the scope, yeah, it's really good, and 2.5 inches at 50 meters with a 44 Magnum lever action. Hey, as far as pigs are concerned, yeah, they should be worried. So I think that's pretty much all I've got, and I'll see you later.